Anyway, enough about Lecrae. I do want to get into. I know you're going to think that this is unrelated. However, this is extremely important. Jennifer Aniston was very upset about the Texas heartbeat law and has been speaking out against it. She even went on to say in one of her famous kind of like quotes here that if you have no uterus, you should have no opinions. And this sparked controversy on Twitter, mainly because it was completely homophobic. Because in 2021, because reality is whatever I say it is, because there's no objective truth, which it's its own issue. That because today in 2021, you can't even say that men can't have babies, because you could be a woman stuck in a man's body, be transgender, and apparently have babies. But Jennifer Aniston made this comment about the Texas heartbeat law, about how she was so worried that babies were going to be born that she wanted to speak out about it and use her incredible platform as one of the stars of Friends to do so. And it is funny how when you have something that is incoherent and inconsistent, like the progressive ideology, that you can have people who are trying to fight for the good fight, but they're going to eventually slip over one of their own paradoxes, which is now men can apparently have women who don't have uteruses. So sorry, Jennifer Aniston, you are now canceled and you're a total homophobe. She followed up the Instagram story. She wrote, Texas won't make a 12-year-old wear a mask to school, but they will force her to have a baby. Keep fighting. This is a classic thing that happens when people try to debate and they try to have like this kind of non sequitur here. Like these two things have nothing to do with themselves. But yes, this is also legislating morality in a sense. We're like, yes, we're not going to make someone be more healthy. We're not going to force a man down on someone if they choose to be unhealthy or whatever. Like, hey, we're not going to force 12-year-old kids to mask up, but we're going to make sure no one gets to kill that 12-year-old. How about that? So they can always make these decisions. They have the freedom to not only live a good life and live a free, productive life in our society, but also find Christ and live out the purpose that he has for them. That's why it's so important to protect the sanctity of life. People can make mistakes. They can sin. They can fall from grace. They can come back if they make a mistake. But Jennifer Aniston thinks that putting on masks is more important. Masking up 12-year-old kids is more important than keeping you alive and being able to take your first breath as your mother and father hold you. So it's a classic argument there, and typical, response of people. Always fun. I also do like the fact that they're like, oh, no uterus, no opinion, because that is how so many voices are silenced as well. That's one of the reasons why I almost didn't even feel comfortable talking about the Lecrae story, because it's like, oh, if you're not melanated properly or whatever, then you shouldn't be able to talk about these issues when, we are all the body of Christ. And if someone you think are going down a wrong path or dark path, you should be able to speak on it. But the left and in general tries to shut down conversation by saying, well, you don't have my lived experience. So you have no right to talk to me about my issues or talk to me about objective truth or whatever. And that is something that I think we do need to push aside. And hopefully, and that allows you, when you have these conversations, to know when you're wrong. Like I could be totally wrong in a lot of things I said, and then I'll hopefully acknowledge that and learn from it, whatever. But to say you can't even have the conversation because you don't have a uterus or you don't have the right amount of melanin is patently ridiculous.